Hello, welcome. My name is Zach, and welcome back to Zach Talks Hawks. We are here at a completely different location with a different recording setup for today's show, but I had to get the video out, so I wanted to get this Seahawk recap for you and a quick go over over our predictions for the last week now that the Monday night game is over. Welcome back, and I hope this finds you well. It certainly finds me well because we are now a 2-0 team, the Seattle Seahawks, sitting on top of the NFC West with a gutty overtime win over the New England Patriots. My fans going on there in the background. I hope it doesn't interfere too much with the sound and the setup. I have a new setup coming in at home soon, so right now we're at my work right now, and we got to deal with what we got. So, taking a look here. Seattle really gutted out a win, a 23-20 victory over the New England Patriots this past week in Week 2 in a game where we knew the inevitable was finally going to happen to the Seahawks. Unfortunately, it happened way, way too early in the season, in my opinion, for it to spell any kind of good news for the Seahawks moving forward. Kenneth Walker got hurt at the end of last week's contest, and it affected him. It affected him all week long, leading up to a game where there was just no plan. There was no plan for an effective run game against the New England Patriots with Zach Charbonnet there in the background. And a lot of this game became very quickly about how well our defense would play against a very shifty Jacoby Brissett, and it rested upon the shoulders of one man, Geno Smith. I posted on X a comment that got quite a bit of traction. I posted Geno Smith's halftime stats and sort of made fun of all the folks who think that Geno Smith is the reason why this team will be held back this year. Geno Smith is not the problem with this offense. Geno Smith is not even close to being a problem with this team. Geno finished 33 of 44 for 327 yards, one touchdown, no interceptions on a game that he absolutely had to take over for Seattle to win this thing, and he did a great job. Geno Smith is not going to be the reason why Seattle loses a majority of however many games they're going to lose this year. It's simply not the case. Geno Smith is a very, very good quarterback, and if given the right tools, he can win you a couple playoff games. I don't know if he's got it in him to lead a team to a Super Bowl, but I do know that guy is very accurate when given time in the pocket. The offensive line held up pretty well for him this past week against a pretty daunting New England pass rush, and gave him time to just surgically go through this defense, especially in the fourth quarter, especially when Seattle needed it the most. He led the team down the field in order to, one, get into a place where Seattle can make that kick going into overtime, and then, of course, getting down the field again to eventually win the game. This game is all about understanding who this team is. It's trying to figure out their identity right now. Are we going to be the Seahawks of old that really rely on our running game and just shoulder a very injury-prone running back unit, or is Brian Grubb and company willing to make a change? Are we going to become a pass-first team? And I think that's the biggest question with the Seattle Seahawks as we enter in this new era of Hawk football. Look, they got all the right tools in order to make the change if they want it. They have an accurate quarterback. They have an offensive line that is okay. They'll gel a little bit more as the season goes on. And they have tremendous wide receivers. This team has the tools offensively to be a dominant pass-first offense. We know what the other teams in the league are doing in order to achieve this kind of success, and I think Brian Grubb is innovative enough as offensive coordinator to make that change happen with this team. This kind of choice goes headlong into what Seattle football has always been, seemingly. It's been a defensive unit relying heavy on run and play action pass, but predominantly a run-first football team. And look, I said it in our preview show for the year, and I'll say it again. I like the idea of having Zach Charbonnet and primarily Kenneth Walker III be the guys that hold on to the ball for the Seattle Seahawks most of the time. But if they're not going to be healthy, we need to abandon this as soon as possible because they will be injury prone. They will hold this team back. And you're going to see if this team's just stubborn, which they weren't on Sunday, which is very encouraging. McDonald even said in his post-game press conference, we're going to do what it takes to win the game. And it took us to pass a lot. I like that. Out of the old regime, you would have seen Seattle just hit its head against the wall over and over and over again to no avail. I was a little upset they didn't try Kenny McIntosh at all in this game. He had a great preseason. He looked really sharp, very decisive. I thought he outperformed Charbonnet in the preseason and earned the right to carry the rock at some point in this game, and he was never given the opportunity to. But Seattle is really now in a place where they have to decide, are they going to toe the line of being historically who they've always been, a run-first team, and just hope and pray their running back room's healthy enough, and if it doesn't work, they'll pivot on a dime? Or are they going to become something different? Are they going to be this pass-first team that I really think they have all the tools to be? Their defense is solid enough to keep them in any game, and the reality is, even though the stats don't necessarily show it, the Seattle pass rush really disrupted Jacoby Brissett a lot in this game. He was very light on his feet. He moved around a lot in the pocket. He was sort of slippery and hard to get down. But that's not going to be every quarterback this team faces this season. And now sitting on top of the NFC West at a 2-0 record with injuries galore for the Los Angeles Rams and the San Francisco 49ers, your time to decide who you are is now. You have the lead in the division. Granted, it's not against a NFC opponent. It's not against a divisional opponent, but it's wins nonetheless. And you can make those changes right now. And that's what I'm looking forward to next week in a game versus Miami, where Seattle's going to have a lot of freedom to try a lot of stuff new, really, because with Tua out, even though historically Seattle hasn't been great against backup quarterbacks, I think they're going to be able to handle Skylar Thompson well, and this offense can open up. Watch out for next week. If Seattle really decides they want to be a pass-first team, you're going to see it next week against the Miami Dolphins, because they're going to be granted opportunities to fail, opportunities to try something new. And who knows, we could be talking Geno Smith as an MVP candidate with how accurate he is. He's not going to put up gaudy touchdown numbers, but he has shown before he can be one of the most, if not the most, accurate passer in the NFL, and that's got to count for something. So watch out coming out of this game. I've been very encouraged to see the sort of pivot that this team was able to do last week against a pretty feisty opponent, and put it all out on the line where they needed to change because their running game wasn't operational. And they did. They did, and it worked very, very well. I'm really encouraged that if Brian Grubb and company make this change, it's going to be successful. It's going to be a fun time for us as fans, because we're going to see something new out there on the football field. Just briefly recapping our picks from Sunday, from this past week 2 of the NFL season. I don't know how, but we went 9-7 this week, again, with a crazy week 2 slate with a ton of upsets. We just sort of managed to pick our way through them, and we got the same record we did in week 1. And if it's above 500, I'm thinking I'm doing pretty good. So our record for the year is 18-14. We got the upset of the week, right? Arizona beat the Los Angeles Rams, and we're cruising right now with our picks. I'm so excited to talk to you more about Seahawk football looking forward into the week to come. What do you think down in the comments? Do you think that this team's ready for that big change to become maybe a team they've never really been before? A pass-first team, a team that has all the weapons available. They seem to have the right quarterback in order to make this change, and the offensive line's going to gel just enough where we might see a totally new brand of Seahawk football. Let me know down in the comments what you think. Until we meet again, my name is Zach. We talk Hawks here, and if you like what you see here, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you again real soon. See ya.